Hey, what's up, guys? And yeah, I'm gonna be posting the final episode. The final episode of What If Naruto was transported to the Justice League world. Don't be sad, guys, because you already know that new What Ifs are coming out soon. And I just wanna thank you all for following me on this long, very long journey. So thank you all for your help and your support. I already posted a new series on this channel, What If Naruto's two advisors own each. More are to come, guys, but go ahead and show that as well. And also, go ahead and check out the Anime King. I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto's Direct Descendant of the Sage. And stay tuned for another episode over on Anime King 3 as well, guys. And I hope you enjoy each and every one of them. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new final episode? Start the intro. So, previously, on What If Naruto was transported to Justice League World, as both Naruto and Diana had transported Supergirl and Starfire out of there, as the heroes were indulging on them. The both of them were surprised to see Naruto and Diana here, but they were happy to see them nonetheless, as the two girls that came over told Diana that they didn't blame her for what she did after killing Maxwell Lord, and they weren't feeling the same way like the other heroes, but Diana was already gone. As Diana told them that they could come with them, but Supergirl denied that, as she still had to worry about Ma and Pa now that Clark was gone, and also she was going to change things. No longer would they cower under villains' reigns because they were too afraid to kill them. As Starfire looked at her as Supergirl told her she could back out, but Starfire kissed her, as the both of them had become a couple, as she told her she was with her till the end. With that, Naruto and Diana set off, as they wished the girls good luck. As for Batman, he was not having a pleasant day either, as looking at his hands he saw all the blood that he let the villains took so far. He also changed his mindset completely, as a more darker persona took over. With that, both Naruto and Diana spent their time together. They'd been trying to have a child, but it was not working, as they went to numerous doctors on different planets, but the both of them were physically healthy. Yes, nothing was wrong with them. So that is why they couldn't understand why they couldn't have a child together. The both of them went to go and visit Kurama, as he told them to give him a year or so. And the years has passed since they left him on that place. As they arrived, the city was named the Great Naruto City. The people there seeing Naruto, they were shocked, as they started to bow and pray to him. Naruto felt a surge of energy that was beyond anything he ever felt before, with their beliefs rushing power into him. As Kurama then came out as it magnified, as he crashed into Naruto with a tight hug. Going inside, the place was beautiful. Kurama was leading over so many planets, as people were putting faith into him, as he could literally read into the people's mind and see their intentions. He was a literal god at the moment. As he talked about Thea, Naruto was surprised, as Kurama knew. He could see glimpses of people's future, so Diana and Naruto wanted to know really what was going on. After joking around a bit, he decided that he should tell them. So yeah, guys, that's basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what is the beginning new final episode? Kurama was glancing towards Naruto as he spoke. You stopped aging about 90 years ago when you were almost sucked by that super massive black hole. We both almost died back then, Kurama said, a thoughtful look on his face. We became immortal, but you lost your ability to procreate. It was an equivalent exchange. Is there anything you can do about it? Diana asked. But of course. Have you forgotten? Said Kurama, with a proud look on his face. I'm a god. As Kurama moved forward, his hand started to glow as he raised his paw and placed on Naruto's chest. A golden light started to fuse into Naruto. Kurama was engulfing Naruto's body with his divinity. Time skip, 1 year after Superman's death on Earth. After the Justice League United had fallen, the Justice League of America had rose from their ashes. There was some difference between them though. Several notable figures missing, like Superman, Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl, 3 of the original Justice League members, And the Justice League of America, the JLA, only handled crimes in USA. This new Justice League no longer protected the entire planet like before. The reason being, after Superman's death and Supergirl killing Joker after what he did, most of the other countries had taken a page out of Japan's book. They start to follow its example. Numerous hero agency has been created to protect their section. They were basically guilds. As they were regulated by the government, they also paid taxes. This was wonderful as crime rate was dropping largely, seeing that most metahumans just didn't know what to do. Know that they could work and be a good part of society and use their power for good and actually get paid for it. They started joining up with the guilds, and the crime started to diminish quickly, seeing that heroes were popping up from everywhere. Seeing that many of them had been keeping a low profile before hiding their superpowers, but now they were coming out and using their powers to help. As many of them had risen and they were now known worldwide. As example, All Might, a metahuman with a super powerful body from Japan. Caesar, a metahuman that is capable of conjuring and controlling any bodies of water from Italy. And so on. There was many of them that were growing popular by the second. That being said, the USA was now very different nowadays. The Justice League of America ruled the country from the shadows with an iron fist. While the government still appeared to be in power, various members of the JLA had infiltrated a lot of powerful stations. Even the current president was a puppet that listened to the JLA Council. Another difference between the normal Justice League and this new Justice League of America, they used lethal force against the criminals. The average Americans were torn, not knowing what to think. They felt restricted, but the crime rate was so low. Where Superman was seen as a gentle giant, a symbol of hope. The current leader of the JLA, Supergirl, was completely different from that. Violent and ruthless. Many criminals had been lobotomized or killed by her. Even corruption for politics was at a low, as Martian Manhunter would infiltrate their minds and read it. No one could hide their secrets from the powerful telepath. Some people hated it as some of them embraced it. The population was split in the middle right now. At the moment, Supergirl was flying over Metropolis. Her black cape, her black shirt with a red S on it, and her miniskirt. She no longer called herself Supergirl. She was now Superwoman. The past year was very difficult for her. She had to fight off her friends and teammates who wanted to set her straight for what she had done. But much to her surprise, public opinion supported her. As it was so intense, the United States force had to drop the trial they wanted to put Supergirl through, seeing that the people are on her side for what she did. After all, Joker killed so many people. So instead of being vilified, like what they did with Wonder Woman, they called her the hero, the one that had the guts to do what to be done. It took Joker and his gang to murder over 100 civilians for the world to finally understand that some being was too dangerous to be left alive. That some humans just didn't deserve second chances at all. They should be put down, with public opinion on her side. And not to mention Batman, with his surprising offer to support her with his wisdom and help. Supergirl had become Superwoman, a fierce defender of the innocents and a wrathful vengeance against the criminals. She was a leading figure of the Justice League of America, supported from the shadows by the Dark Knight of Gotham, Batman. As she was flying over Metropolis, these days no one was stupid enough to start anything. They knew if Supergirl caught them, they'd be lobotomized, in prison, or worse, killed. She was just patrolling the city for any things that she might, see suddenly happen, like accidents that humans can handle, or a house on fire, something like that. But the usual piece was interrupted by Martian Manhunter. Telepathic message. His voice was filled with urgency. Superwoman, Batman, Brother AI, has discovered hundreds of time-warp space breaches opening up around the planet. Boom tubes, he said. The moment that message ended, a wormhole was ripped into the sky above Metropolis. A bone-chilling cry was heard over the Lord City. Savage screams and bloodthirsty shrieks. The sky had turned grey as a swarm of winged demonic beings rained down. Hundreds upon hundreds of parademons were flying down towards the earth. A massive being radiating pure power walked behind them as he was stepping on the air like it was earth. Over 40 feet tall, extremely muscular, grey skin, red eye, and wearing purple and black armor. It was none other than the god of apocalypse, Darkseid. He floated above the city, watching the world beneath his feet like they were nothing but ants. They could not catch his interest, but when he saw the blonde woman with an S in her chest appeared, a smirk came on his face. Dozens of the Justice League of America heroes were being teleported behind Superwoman, but Darkseid was not really worrying. He just stood in the air, his hands behind him. His face was rather arrogant. It was like he was waiting for them to gather their entire forces before he finally crushed them. His parademons are also flying orderly behind him. You shouldn't have come here, Darkseid. We've healed you once before. We will do it again, Superwoman said. I have underestimated you once and I pay for it. But it's no time for you to pay for your audacity, Darkseid said. The skies will rain fire, the ocean will boil, and the streets will run red with the blood of billions. Only then after your last pitiful hope is extinguished, I will end your life. I am eternal. I am death. I am Darkseid. He waved a single hand, the parademons screeched. As he dropped his hand, the parademons then launched themselves forward, screeching. The members of the JLA were not lacking neither. A thunderclap could be heard as 5 parademons fell to the ground, dead, their bodies smoking. With a battle cry, Shazam was the first one to leap forward. A laser beam sliced 10 parademons in half from the waist. Cyborg was on a rampage. His left arm transformed to a particle cannon and he started to prepare a powerful charge. But before he could fire it, 2 crimson light invaded his vision, and then he knew no more. It had happened in an instant. Darkseid's eyes were still burning with his Omega beams after firing them. There was nothing left of Cyborg in this world. He was reduced to ashes. Cyborg! Starfire screamed out in heartbreak. However, there was no time for mourning on the battlefield. Seeing Cyborg just completely incinerated, she was distracted as 2 parademons launched towards her. It was only because of John Stewart stopping it. That is the reason why she wasn't impaled through the back. As the parademons smashed against a green claw, there was a construct in front of them blocking their path. Superwoman then released a loud, powerful shout, one that vibrated through the entire city. Dozens of parademons fell to the ground, blood leaking from their ears and eyes. Even her allies, the rest of JLA members, felt their bodies shake, even though they were wearing earplugs. She then flew towards Darkseid like a speeding bullet. He simply smirked, meeting her punch head on. A 5'6" girl, fist smashed against a giant over 40 feet tall. The difference in size was ridiculous. It was like a giant versus a normal house cat. But the smirk disappeared off his face when he felt the punch. It was no weaker than his late enemy Superman. Boom! Despite their fight was so high up in the air, all the windows down below on the top floor of the skyscrapers were shattered. Most of the parademons and Justice League members moved away from the 2 living explosions, afraid to get caught up in that clash. Well, not everyone shied away from the devastating battle between them. A rocket burst forward from Green Lantern's ring, forcing Darkseid to meet it head on. Darkseid smashed his fist, destroying it though, but he left himself wide open. A muscular man flew right below him and shouted, Shazam! Light magic, the sky suddenly turned black and lightning struck down. Darkseid screamed in rage as he stomped his foot in Shazam's face. Shazam was launched to the ground like a cannonball. An entire skyscraper was destroyed by his unconscious body, as Shazam was embedded into the ground, completely out cold. Several thousand people were killed in an instant. We have to take the fight out of Metropolis, Green Lantern screamed. So many innocent people dying so quickly in the beginning of the fight was like a bucket of ice water being poured on the superheroes' heads. The Justice League did not ignore the warning of Green Arrow that Darkseid would return. Ever since the JLA had been established, they had run multiple simulations, plans how to deal with Darkseid's next invasion. However, the reality was completely different from what they expected. Do not panic, Batman voice came through the comms. Stick to the plan, we have to gouge out his 2 eyes first. A hero, riding a white horse with wings, with a spear, dived towards Darkseid, but the parademon knocked him off his horse. Sir Justin did not even make to the ground as 3 parademons ripped through his armor as they tore his body apart as he screamed. Superwoman's eyes glowed as the 20 parademons that were trying to surround her were incinerated by her laser beams. Breaking the sound barrier once again, she launched at the god of evil as Stargirl had her staff as she twirled it, releasing a golden engine that blasts away several parademons. A green serpentine dragon then appeared and wrapped around Darkseid, momentarily holding him. Wielding her cosmic staff, Stargirl plunged it right into the eye of the giant god. Screaming in rage and pain, a blue electricity burst from Darkseid's body. It was a matrix of agony. The dragon changed its shape as it fell down, transforming into Martian Manhunter. The Martian was screaming in pain out of his mind as he fell down. Darkseid remained eye glow crimson as he was about to fire another Omega beam, but Supergirl's fists smashed into his jaw with a boom as he was sent sailing through the sky towards the ocean. Even as he fell into the ocean, Justice League gave him no rest, as Flash started to run around him as a tornado formed, pushing Darkseid up in mid-air. Still in mid-air, before he could get a chance to balance himself, Darkseid was once again blasted backwards, fire by Starfire, as Green Lantern then created a giant fist that smashed into Darkseid's skull, as his body was sent skipping across the ocean. With a shout of pain and anger, he fixed his body in mid-air. Parademons ignored Justice League, killed those pitiful humans in the city. All the color drained from the hero's face. They never expected this at all. The bloodthirsty parademons quickly changed their course towards the city. They threw themselves on the helpless civilians. Man, woman, child, elderly. They were ripped to shreds. Hundreds had been killed in less than a minute, and the parademons weren't slowing down. Slaughter was the sole purpose of their existence after all. Despite he was blind in one eye, Darkseid grinned as he heard the screams. Hearing death screams warms one's heart, doesn't it? My only regret is that Khaled is no longer alive to hear this wonderful concert. I wish he was here to see his face twisted in rage and cries as he heard those pitiful ants down below die. The god of evil mockery made the Justice League boil with rage. Fate, Batman called out, as a portal in the form of an anchor appeared. I am sorry, we have no other choice. You do not need to apologize. Compared to other people, I've lived a long life. What is my life compared to 10 of millions? Have you contacted Wonder Woman and Caterpillar? Batman asked after a moment of silence. Green Arrow is calling them now, Dr. Fate said. Do you think they will answer your call? Will they listen to your request? Asked Batman. They will. Uzumaki gave me his word. Now, I need someone to protect me while I cast his spell. Roger, said Batman, as he terminated the connection. Flash, Green Lantern, head back to Metropolis. Protect Dr. Fate at all costs, even with your life. It was not only the United States that the army of parademons were wreaking havoc. All over the planet, new boom tubes were being opened as well, as different kind of troops were being transported towards Earth. War machine, robots, and other type of creatures, monsters as well. The military and the guilds were fighting against the forces, but the losses were terrible on each side. Hundreds of many humans, thousands of soldiers were losing their life within minutes. It was a bitter battle, a battle for survival. Meanwhile, Naruto, Diana, and Kurama were eating some delicious fruit, catching up with each other. They were talking what they had been up to for the past 2 years, when a beeping sound distracted them. Naruto's first intention was to ignore it, but Kurama had other thoughts. You better pick that up. Naruto looked at him. He listened to his words. He pulled out his lightweight device. As he tapped on it, the hologram of Green Arrow, Wonder Woman, Mr. Uzumaki, Darkseid as he invaded the Earth. He said right away. The tone of his voice was filled with urgency. What is the situation? Said Diana. Though surprised that they're different here, Green Arrow did not comment on it. Darkseid and his parademons invaded through hundreds of boom tubes. He sent his parademons and war machines all over the planet. As for Darkseid himself, he came to Metropolis. Shining Knight, Cyborg, and probably Shazam already has fallen. Martian Manhunter, fate's unknown. Superwoman is enraged. Hearing that several members already died, Diana descended into momentary silence before she asked, who's Superwoman? Supergirl, she's grown up. She's one of the two leaders of the Justice League of America with Batman. That is what she calls herself nowadays, Green Lantern replied. Where is Dr. Fate? How come you're the one who's using his lightweight device? Did he die as well? Naruto asked. Another brief moment of silence was there, until Green Arrow spoke. Darkseid orders parademons to ignore Justice League and attack the people within the city. There are thousands of them, we cannot stop them all. Dr. Fate's gonna cast a powerful era spell effect, keep him away. Diana got to her feet. Hold on, for 1 hour. Tell everyone to keep on fighting for 1 hour. That is how long it would take us to space warp there. I can send you there directly, said Kurama. Both Diana and Naruto turned towards him in surprise. But then they remember Athena was capable of opening portals. Are you coming with us? Naruto asked. No, said Kurama. I don't care about that planet. Vegas is in my home, not Earth. But if you end up in mortal peril, you can summon my avatar. Just like you used to summon your toads in the past. Naruto looked at Kurama weirdly. In the past, he was a stronger one, but now Kurama seemed to be in a different league of his own. His avatar alone could end this. Naruto didn't know what to think. Summoning jutsu? How would that work to summon your avatar? Naruto asked. I have infused you with my divinity. We're connected. Better said you're my apostle now. As Kurama laughed arrogantly, he was very pleased with himself. We don't have time for this, said Diana. More people are dying. Every second we waste. Kurama stopped joking as he waved his claw in front of him like he was slashing at the air. It was like he ripped through space and time itself as 5 white claw slashes were in mid-air. They widened until it created a portal They could see the tall skyscrapers of Metropolis beyond it. Meanwhile, is Dr. Fate not done yet? Flash said as he blitzed past 10 parademons, speed punching them, killing them. Green Lantern created a whip of light that was slashing parademons as well. Dr. Fate has been casting a spell for over 3 minutes already. If you have enough time to chat, go and kill more parademons, John shouted. Not in a mood to listen to speech or complaints, not after witnessing the deaths of so many people. A golden anchor appeared behind Dr. Fate as his eyes opened, shining. Nibius, law and order. The golden anchor flew up as it started to increase in size. It grew until it dwarfed the entire city, bathing it in a bright golden light. As the divine light spread outwards, any parademon it touched were doused into dust. It did not kill only the parademons though. Even some metahumans or humans who thought that it was right to use this advantage to rob stores or loot was turned to dust as well. But it did not harm innocents in the least. Quite the opposite, it started to heal their injuries. In hospital, patients that were only surviving by machines start to wake up. Their injuries, their life-threatening disease going away. Even Justice League and Darkseid had froze at that spectacular scene. Darkseid was shocked. He never expected a human to be able to use one of the true power of the law and order. But Supergirl, Stargirl, and Steel, the heroes, the one that knew, they were not showing any sign of joy. Because they knew what was going to happen now, for Dr. Fate casting a spell. As Dr. Fate, his face started to age rapidly under his helmet. The price of casting a spell was his lifespan. As his teeth fell from his mouth, his hair became snow white and fell out. But he had no intention of stopping. The anchor of gold light spread towards the ocean. For the first time since showing up on Earth, Darkseid had a look of fear on his face. Completely ignoring the other Justice League members, he started to fly away. But Dr. Fate reached his limits. The forbidden spell, devour his lifetime. Dr. Fate closed his eyes, a serene expression on his face. He died fighting to protect the innocents. He sacrificed his life to protect 10 million others. To him, there was no other way of dying that was truly noble. When another portal opened up, no one noticed it. Where's everyone? Said Naruto as he came out of the portal. Wonder Woman frowned as she flew down. She could see no metahumans, no Darkseid, no parademons. There was just regular people running away, and the police force looking scared as well. As Naruto and Diana arrived moments after Dr. Fate's spell had erased all of the enemies. Give me a moment, said Naruto as he closed his eyes. When he opened them, he entered Sage Mode. As he focused on the censoring ability of his Sage Mode, there were so many people below, over 10 million. He couldn't single out a random person. Maybe they match mode fight away from the city to avoid casualties. Expand your senses toward the ocean, said Wonder Woman. Following her advice, Naruto did as he was told. And there, a group of powerful-like signatures appeared on his radar. You're right, out in the ocean, said Naruto. As Naruto's body started to flicker with energy before it erupted as he entered Sage Path 6 mode. As the 10 black orbs appeared behind him. You're faster, go ahead. Take my dagger and throw it at Darkseid's blind spot. I'll be there with a surprise for him, said Naruto as he started to form a Bichu bomb in his left hand. Despite the dire situation, Diana smiled at him as she raised her hand for a fist bump. You don't have a long time left form while we're on Earth. Let's end this fast, she said. As Naruto bumped fists with her. Yes, you take care too. Don't get too overconfident, he said. Right back at you, she said. And with that, she was gone. Wonder Woman arrived to see Steel disintegrated down to nothing as Darkseid Omega Beam had disintegrated him. His sledgehammer was the only thing remaining as he dropped it right before he was hit. In brightest day, in darkest night, no evil shall escape my sight. As John Stewart ring started to glow bright, witnessing another comrade die in front of him, he cursed his weakness, cursed his lack of killing. Even after Justice League had been reformed, he never broke his oath. But at this moment, filled with so much fury, it doesn't matter, even if the Guardians will strip him of his ring or imprison him, it will be. As he shouted the last two verses, let those who worship evil's might beware of my power. Green Lantern light! Not even his body could be seen clearly as the light was too intense from his ring. Warning, willpower exceeding ring capability. John did not realize what he just did at that moment. His will had surpassed the most powerful weapon in the universe. He found the limits of what was supposed to be limitless. He was only thinking about one thing though, killing Darkseid to save his brothers in arms. The God of Evil released another wave of his matrix of agony, making the heroes collapse from the air. As Superwoman fell into the ocean, her body twitching uncontrollably. Then Darkseid turns attention towards Green Lantern. His supernatural senses warned him of mortal danger. In front of him, John Stewart was a sight to behold. He had seen minions kill a bunch of Green Lanterns with his own two hands, but he never saw Green Lantern exuding so much power before. as he locked his remaining eye to fire his Omega Beam as John pointed his Green Lantern ring. It was like a railgun was fired, a beam of light exploded from his ring. Everyone was blinded by the light. When they finally regained their sight, they were shocked at the sight in front of them. Darkseid's left arm was vaporized, but then a deafening sound ruptured the sky as everyone turned their head. Darkseid Omega Beam was about to slam into John when Wonder Woman appeared with a sunshine, her shield blocking it. After a brief struggle, the beams dissipated, as her shield was one of the very few things, like her braces, that could resist the effects of the Omega Beams. Darkseid screamed in anger as he launched towards Green Lantern, but Diana met his charge head on and slammed her shield into his chest. The shockwave blasted all of the members of Justice League away. The outcome of the clash between the two gods left the both of them dizzy. She shook her head as she grasped the dagger and threw it. The God of Darkness saw the dagger, but because of her dizziness, her aim was poor, so he ignored it, as it went 2 feet above his head just like he thought. But then he felt it. Darkseid's remaining eye went wide. He felt a magical force behind him. He twisted around just in time, as Naruto was behind him with a massive spear of purple black chakra. Biju Bob. It was like a miniature sun went off in the sky. Everyone lost their sight as the thing erupted. It was like an atomic bomb went off. The JL members quickly moved back as they had no idea what the hell was going on. The truth-seeking orbs quickly transformed the dark chains and wrapped around Darkseid's body. 9 shadow clones and the original grabbed the chains and started to pull. The God of Evil was barely conscious. The skin over his body was melted off. He looked like one big charred rock, as indestructible chains wrapped around his body and dig into his flesh. A scream of agony came from his chest as his matrix of agony burst forward with rage. But to his surprise, the chains canceled them out. Diana, now! Wonder Woman teleported behind Darkseid's body as she quickly grabbed the scroll in her waist and slapped her hand on after unraveling it. As she grabbed onto the radiant spear, she took aim as her body started with blue light as her hair started to rise up. Sparks of lightning started to dance around the spear and her body, just like when Dr. Fate cast his spell or when Green Lantern fired that beam. Darkseid felt like he was going to die, but this time he could do nothing to avoid it. He was badly injured and chains were digging into his flesh. As he started to prepare his Omega Beam, only for a clone of Naruto to poof into existence with a Rasen shuriken and toss it right into his eyes. It exploded. As Wonder Woman released the spear, it burst through the air like a missile. The sharp tip of the radiant spear ripped into his skin, tearing through his chest. Before it shattered, the shards of the radiant spear shattered when it touched his blood, turning into the substance that was poisonous to gods. Just a few grams would poison a god, but a full spear. Darkseid took his last breaths. Even as he died, his face still had a hopeless look of rage and helplessness. As the God of Darkness was no more. Time skip. Finally over, a young little girl said, as she was writing about the planet. She had to write like she was a normal girl that didn't know much, but knew what the history put out there. Well, she was the daughter of 2 gods. And Kurama was her uncle. Uncle Kurama, I finished my homework. She jumped from her chair, she flew out of the room. Still flying, she burst from one room to another. When she was about to enter the room of Kurama, a yellow-skinned man came their way. Princess, I'm afraid my lord is meditating now. He usually does not like to be disturbed in such moments, but he promised that we will play after I finish my homework. I even wrote the history and praised the empire like he wanted, to say how great it was. I didn't write the truth about how he's a lazy bum that does nothing but sleep every day. The old attendant started to sweat by the girl's words. If said by anyone else, it would be seen as blasphemy. But this young girl had a very special status. You little twerp. Who are you calling a lazy bum? Badmouthing me behind my back, huh? The deep growl that came from Kurama's personal quarters vibrated through the entire place. The little girl simply smiled. Uncle Kurama, she yelled. As the door opened up, she shot towards him. The former Biju grinned as she slammed into his tails and started to hug them. Ah, so fluffy, so beautiful, so cute. I love this. She gushed and cooed as she rubbed her cheeks on his golden fur. Kurama chuckled as he made her sit properly in his back. Hey, not the ears. Hey, let go, he said. Don't lie, I know it doesn't hurt you. A tip mark came on his forehead. Damn it, Thea, oh my god. What do my people say if they see you not only riding on my back, but also pulling on my ears like that? But Grandpa over there sees you, and he doesn't think less of you, does he? The both of them turned towards the old attendant. Damn it, princess. Are you trying to have me killed, he thought. He could only force himself to smile and shake his head. Nothing will ever reduce my Lord, but he was cut off. Reno. I'm embarrassed for your sake. You can retire for the day, said Krama, as the old man had the lie through his teeth. He didn't need to be told twice as he bowed deeply before leaving. I swear, I gotta have a talk with your parents about this. I'm not your babysitter. For them to dump you on my doorstep whenever they go on a mission. I'm a god, and I'm an emperor too. More than 50 billion souls depend on me every day. I don't have time to waste playing around with you. The little girl simply giggled at his words. You're always saying things that you don't mean. Uncle Krama, I know you. But I still love you so much. As she wrapped both her arms around his neck, hugging him dearly. Hearing that she loved him and embraced him, melt away his little speech. Unknowingly, she had Uncle Krama wrapped around her little finger. Time skip. Oi, when are you coming back? Huh? What happened? Come get your offspring, I can't deal with her anymore. She is as annoying as you was as a kid, maybe even more. But less dumb. And more adorable. I can't even smack her around like I used to do you. Naruto simply chuckled. We should be back by tomorrow. We found him, Krama. We finally found him. For over a decade, Naruto and Diana spent fortunes to find a simple man. 10 years is a long time to spend searching for someone. But Naruto was tenacious. His efforts finally bore fruit today. Good, said Krama. The little monkey told me to tell you, not forget to bring her hot ice. I won't. I'll talk to you later, bro. With that, Naruto ended the telepathic chat, and he turned his attention towards the matter at hand, as Diana and Hippolyta was in front of him. Diana face was cold but serene, as she held on to her own golden shield and stood there in her place. Her mother, on the other hand, was not very well in control of her emotions. Hippolyta had a twisted expression on her face that was filled with hatred and rage. She had Diana God-slain sword, as it was dripping with flesh blood. In her other hand, she was holding on to the severed head of an old man, with curly hair and a bushy beard. The life in the severed head seemed to have not vanished yet. There was still lightning in his eyes, as his mouth was open as he was trying to form words. However, no sound came through his bloody lips. Hippolyta watched as the life seeped away from him, the light in his eyes slowly fading away. After almost 10 years of searching, they finally found the former king of Olympics, and now there he was, dead, beheaded, finally paying for his crimes. If Naruto wasn't a god already, he would have took Zeus' life himself. But as a result of Kurama fusing his divinity into him, before the battle with Darkseid a decade ago, Naruto soon descended into godhood. Therefore, he decided to leave the killing of the god of thunder to his mother-in-law. Hell has no fury as a woman scorned, and Hippolyta's scorn had been, even though several thousand years passed since he forced himself on her. She never forgotten, or did she forgive him? Mother, that's enough. Diana says she placed a hand on her shoulder, squeezing it lightly. She took the severed head, and a silvery flame came from her palm, burning it. The queen nodded, as she turned towards Naruto. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Naruto. He deserved this and much more, said Naruto. It's only fitting that he met his end at your hands. Diana struck her shield on her back as she took the god-slain sword, as she flicked off the blood, and sheathed it on her back as well. Come, mother, let's go home, she said. Hold longer and stick around this time, Thea. Miss her grandmother a lot, said Naruto. A smile appeared in Hippolyta's face. What if my answer was forever? Diana's eyes widened. Mother, are you serious? I've been the leader of the Amazons for over 5,000 years now. I think that's enough time for someone else to take over now. This is great. I can't wait to see Thea's face. Who did you leave in charge? Asked Diana. Artemis. She always wanted to lead the Amazons, but she respected me too much to try and take my position by force. You're right. I think she'll be great for that role. As the three of them started to walk towards the spaceship, while Crab could open a portal anywhere for them. They just loved, well, traveling by ship. As the two of them had spent the first few years of their relationship that way, so it was wonderful for them. Time skip. Dad! Thea says she flew into her father's arms. She will always be Dad, little girl, isn't she? Said Hippolyta. Diana turned her head in annoyance at the side. That's because he always let her do whatever she wants. She has him at her beck and call. If it wasn't for me to keep the two of them in line. It was as she said, Naruto could hardly refuse anything except the angel acts. As the authoritative figure was Diana in this relationship, but she did not blame her husband in the least. She understood where he was coming from, given his life growing up, and not to mention the Black Mercy. Naruto treasured his daughter. He was a light in his eyes. Have you been good? Did you listen to your uncle? Did you do your homework? He asked. She leaned to her dad, touched like a spoiled little kitten. She had only been away from their presence for 3 days now, but she deeply missed them despite the little time that passed. Naruto himself was smiling at how adorable she was. Not a day passed without him thinking about that he had a daughter. My daughter. Her name was Athena, as they shortened it and called her Thea. She had long black hair that reached her waist, cute blue eyes, pearly white teeth, and 3 pairs of whisker marks on her cheeks. She was like a miniature copy of her mother, but with 3 whisker marks. She inherited her mother's intelligence, but the personality was of her father. Always filled with energy, always annoying someone until they gave her their undivided attention. Always in the mood to pull a prank whenever the opportunity showed itself. In his eyes, she was perfect. Naruto stood behind him as he watched him enter the house. As her grandmother was currently cooing at her to how cute she was. As Diana was talking to Kurama to whether Thea had been obedient when they were away. It felt so peaceful. Almost hard to believe that something like this was real. Diana, Thea, Kurama, mother-in-law. This is my family. If someone at that moment asked Naruto who was the happiest man in the world, he would instantly say me. But guys, this is where this story finally comes to an end. I really just want to thank you all for sticking with me this far, liking, commenting, subscribing because of this story, and I just want to say thank you all. After all of this wouldn't be possible without you guys, so I just want to say thank you all once again. And don't be sad because you guys already knew what is coming up soon for you guys to enjoy, so just sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. But I'm off now. Stay tuned for Making 3. Peace.